Welcome back, everybody, to another video here with Kyle Chris, and today I have what a lot of people have been asking for, which is the sixth place Gamma list from this weekend's Origin event in Columbus, which we have Jacob, another one of the local boys, which is really cool that there's, you know, a few of us who topped. And he got sixth place with Gamma, and I do believe this is the first Gamma placing, top placing so far since the new set, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So how's it going, Jacob?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Give me kind of a breakdown on, you know, why you decided to play Gamma, and just your overall experience, you know, this weekend with the deck.
So I picked Gamma because I play mostly blue decks. This one seemed pretty fun when it was revealed. Having 3 open energy on your opponent's turn is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun. Other than that, how I did. Okay, so I went 6-2. My losses were to Launch Red Blue and U7 Goku. The Launch played the Red Vegito Unison, and anytime I played a card with the skill, I went to the drop instead. Never played against that before, and that hurt. Then the U7, I played like I just learned the game. It wasn't good. I got tilted, and I just got lost. I got beat pretty bad. So other than that, I faced Yellow Turles, Janemba Mill, Yellow Trunks, Yellow Sin, Blue Vegito, Green Cooler, and these aren't in order. I'm just trying to remember what I played against.
You played against a Janemba? I didn't see anyone playing Janemba. That's
There was 2 Janemba Mill decks there.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Huh.
I think that's the majority of it.
Okay. So you feel pretty confident though with the deck. I know, obviously this is only like the 3rd event or the 4th event of the set, so there's not a lot of data to go backing it up saying that Gamma was going to be a good deck. But you were pretty confident with it, and obviously you play a lot of Android stuff, so it was kind of fit right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. I'm practiced the week and a half or 2 weeks before the event with it, just to get a feel for it.
Yep.
Went pretty well. Topped locals twice with it, so I felt pretty confident. I didn't play a lot of other matchups like U7 at our locals, but still felt pretty good. Yeah,
that's something that we'll need to practice, because I also lost to a U7 player too. So, well, let's go over the leader and then the kind of the deck itself.
All right. So I played Commander Red and got 6th place. All right. So Gamma 1 and 2. On the front side, when you swing, you draw a card. Waking condition is 4 or less, or if you have a blue Unison specified cost at 2, you can awaken. You take yourself down to 6, and draw 1, untap 1. And then the fun part is the back. At the end of your turn, you add 3 blue androids from your energy to your hand. Then you draw a card, and then you can add up to 3 blue energies back into your energy. And it leaves a lot of things open to having those 3 energy open on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, you get a lot of options of things that you can do.
Exactly.
Now, does it say
somewhat.
Does it say that you have to put down 3 androids?
You can do up to 3.
Okay.
So you don't have to put all 3 back down. And I did that one time when I only needed the 2 energy, I thought, and so I kept an extra card in my hand.
Interesting. Okay.
The other important part with that ability is that you can only let me read it so I don't mess it up. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, you can't activate the skills of non-android battle cards with energy cost 7 or less in all areas. So that's important because that turns off things like God Sealing, Heroic Prospect, a lot of battle cards that are played on the opponent's turn.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see the list.
All right.
I have to say, I know I think you were the only Gamma player there too, if I'm not mistaken, at least on that day. I know there was one on Wednesday.
As far as I know, I think so. I know Kenny said there was someone there Wednesday that played it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll start with the Unison. This is a new Unison from the new set 2. Its ability is pretty cool. Once per turn, when a player attacks, you add a marker, and then you can use a mono blue battle card with 5k combo power from your drop. So automatic free marker on you and your opponent's turn. And that 5k combo power really helps. Whatever the first swing is, usually will stop it, or they have to out combo you. So they either have to be smart and attack with something small that they don't really need to get through, or they have to play around it, I think.
It's very annoying. For someone who's played against the deck a few times, it's very irritating just knowing that your first swing into this Unison just doesn't matter.
Yep. Then it has a -4. It gets 10k power and dual attack for the turn. And 25k dual attack is pretty strong, especially against things like yellow with their mecha freezes. You can swing without resting anything.
It's very, very strong. Very, very strong. And you run 4 of those, right? I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have Android 14 and 15. So these guys, you can activate main, discard it from your hand, and then you can search the top 5 for a red ribbon, 5 or less, or this Unison.
Okay.
This is great. I always tried to start with it in my hand, even if I had one of the Unisons. By discarding it, you now have a free combo for the Unison to use.
Yeah, it's a lot of synergy for the deck being a searcher and then just giving you free combo power every turn. It's
exactly.
Nuts.
So next up, we have our 3-drop androids.
Okay.
They're pretty much identical. The 18 has critical, and the 17 has barrier. So the one with barrier is definitely more relevant right now, especially with green decks going around. Red U7, they can't neg it. So that's why I have 4 of those and only 3 of the crits. So their abilities, you can pay 1 to play it from your energy. With the leader ability, when you play something from your energy, you take the top card and put it back in your energy. So when this is played, you search the top 5, you look for a blue android and put it in your energy, and then you choose one of your energy and put it at the bottom of your deck and then shuffle. So when you play a card from your energy and it's not a blue android, you get to fix that with these 2.
Yep, which I'm sure happens every now and then.
Yes, it does, because I do run some other non-android cards.
And actually, so I think you're selling the card a little short. The effect on it with the counterplay window. Do you want to explain that?
Oh yeah. So when you activate a skill, it opens up counter window 1. So if they respond with a counter, you don't have to play this card, so you don't lose the energy. The wording is you may play this card from your energy. So there's, a couple cards that would hit it from not being played at all. And yeah, so you always give the opponent the opportunity to respond in that first window.
Yep, you gotta remember as a game of player to say that, because if they say no to, if they say no counters and then you go to play it and like, all right, well I'm gonna Vegeta Resolve Renew, you're like, no, you missed your counter window. Or if they do say, all right, I'm gonna play this card here, and you go, all right, cool, I'm not gonna play this card.
Yep, and then you only tap down 1. You're not at a big loss still.
And I know the card is limit 1, so you can't play it again, but you just kind of bait your opponent out of doing something, and
exactly,
it's good. Yep.
Next up, we have the new android from the new set as well. If your leader is red ribbon, it negates the energy exhaust, which is amazing in this deck. Deflect and dual attack. You can pay 1 blue, 1 green, and play this from your hand or energy. When he's played, you choose one of your opponent's cards with the energy cost greater than or equal to their current energy and place it at the bottom of the deck. So this is really helpful for getting rid of big threats. Even some medium level threats. It's got the dual attack, 20k, very strong.
Very irritating. And then you combine that with your unison, you have a 25k swing on the first swing. The card's incredible. It's a very, very good card.
Very good. All right, going down more. We have Android 18 counterplay. If you have a unison in play during your opponent's turn, with a specified cost of 2 or more, the energy cost is reduced by 3. So this will hit any card. Let me just make sure. Play this card, then if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it's placed at the bottom of the deck instead of being played. Since you can't run God Sealing, this is the best replacement for it.
Yep.
There's a lot of 4 or less that happen right now. And being able to just pay 1 to get bottom deck it, it's huge.
Very much so. It's a good thing that this deck can't run God Sealing, because I feel like it would be just like it actually gives me a headache trying to think of like all the ways you have to play around this deck with God Sealing. But it's a good supplement. It gets the job done, and it's an Android target. So
exactly. I run 4 of those as well. So the big scary threat for this deck is the new 9-drop Cell. Deflect, dual attack. You can pay 1 green, 1 blue, and 2 energy, and play it from your hand or energy, and it gains double strike for the turn. When he's played, it wipes the board. Choose all your opponent's battle cards and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck. Then it has once per turn. If this card is in a battle, when your opponent activates a counterattack skill, they place 1 card from their hand at the bottom of their deck.
It's incredibly powerful.
Pay 4, play this out, swing with it. If they use a dormant, they have to bottom deck another card. It's really strong.
Yeah. It's a very powerful card. Just complete board wipe. And it's an end archetype card too, so it's good.
Another dual attacker. And the turn it's played, it has double strike. It's very strong. There was a couple times where I got 1 out on turn 4 and then another out on turn 5.
That's disgusting.
It's annoying because that once per turn effect for bottom decking a card for countering is great. All right, so the new Floodgate that came out for this deck specifically, Android 14, cost 2. You discard a card from your hand and it negates the attack and plays this card. When this is played, your opponent can't attack unless they bottom deck 2 cards from their hand. So just a strong Floodgate. With untapping 3 every turn, you pretty much can always be able to use it.
Yep.
There are things that will stop it. Vegeta resolved. But overall, it's just very strong.
Yeah, very irritating. Hate that card. Absolutely hate that card.
It slows down a lot of people, shuts off turns completely. It's pretty good. Super combo. Since the leader restricts what battle cards you can use, Android, there's not too much of a choice for super combo. And making your opponent bottom deck a card is pretty strong. Pretty good. Then I run 3 of Android 16 Steadfast Comeback. Let me just make sure all of the keywords: dual attack, blocker, revenge, and arrival, blue-green. When you play them or use them as a combo from your hand, you get to choose one. Your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it, or place up to 1 blue Android card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck in your drop area and then shuffle. There's no reason to choose the second one. It's always make the opponent discard another card.
Yep.
Then you have another dual attacker. Great on defense too. Revenge, blocker.
Another very good card. This deck has a very, if you guys can tell, this deck has a theme. It's a lot of dual attacking with some slight, mild hand destruction. It's a very, very good concept.
So I run 4 draw lapes. The deck itself doesn't draw much. It doesn't really need to draw that many cards because you're playing things from your energy for the most part. But it's always great to have that hand advantage. Make sure you see the things you need to see. It's a good target to pitch with the Floodgate, and then pay 2 and draw 2 next turn.
It's another free, just a free draw 2 in this deck, just like Soul Striker was.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm running 3 of the Realm of the God Beerus Destroys.
How'd this work for you?
There weren't too many targets on the opponent's side, or on the opponent's turn, to bottom deck with the second ability, but it was always nice to, like a pseudo super combo, to draw 1 and stay alive if needed. I used the ability more on my turn to get rid of some bigger threats if I did not feel safe playing out the dual attack or the 4-drop.
Okay.
But there's some matchups where I went down to 2 of these instead of having the 3. I think it's a strong card to keep in there, though.
Yeah, we've tested why you need to keep that card in the main deck.
there's some stuff. Black Mass Saiyan, right? Yeah.
Black Mass Saiyan puts hands and feet on the beginning part of this deck, so yeah.
Then I run 3 of the chilled token negates. Since the leader effect specifically says energy costs 7 or less, that means you can still use the blocker ability on the tokens that this generates.
Yep, since they don't have any cost.
Correct.
So.
You know, this just comes into handy. You tapped out to do that and to play the Floodgate, but they still want to swing, and you will want to negate it. You still have options.
Yeah, I'm assuming if you Floodgate, they swing through it the first time, you chilled army, then just go, all right, I'm going to pass. Because it's just not worth swinging. At that point, you've already lost 2 cards. You don't want to lose 4 more cards just to try to deal 1 damage or whatever.
Yeah. And,
Sensu Bean I see?
There's other thing. Dragon Fist. The yellow Dragon Fist.
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't. You can't activate this Floodgate against it, but you can use the token blocker.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And yes, 4 Sensu Beans.
Oh, I thought you weren't running Sensu Bean. What happened?
My first list didn't have them, but with my SCR choice, I felt I needed them. So, get to that momentarily. A 1 of Android 17 Turning the Tide. I only played this once. Most games I took it out because I felt like most of the times I could just be more aggressive and I wouldn't get to turn 7.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I don't know if you watched the Crossworld's Joey's video when he was talking about the deck. He says like, yeah, there's a good chance like this deck should be played more as an aggro deck or like a mid-range aggro deck, and yeah, I agree. I think it's good to have. Obviously, for 1, it's an Android target, and then 2, you can always just charge it. But the way that you've played the deck, I don't. It's hard to think that you get turn 7 unless it's like a really control matchup.
If I remember correctly, I think I used this in the Janemba Mill matchup, and that's
hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
Overwhelm is Scientist Fu. Pay 1, Overwhelm 7. You draw 2, and it's a 25k double strike.
That's a pretty card.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for letting me borrow this.
So did that work for you all week? Like, was it a good choice for Overwhelm, do you think?
So honestly, I used it once while I was playing. A lot of times I just didn't see it. So It didn't hurt. It didn't... Having it's great. Paying 1 for that, but I don't think I would change it, though.
I agree.
So finally, my secret rare is Kapitokai. You pay 2, play this. It's activate main or battle. Pay 2 green. Play this card from your hand, and your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn. Then, when this card is played, you can Spirit Boost 2 and choose one of your opponent's Unison cards and gain control of it. So, there's a couple blue-greens in here that I use for energy, and there was times when I needed that second green energy, and Sensu Bean, you just bean, untap your green, and this is live again. I used it a couple times Friday. I did not steal any Unisons Friday, but in testing against some other decks like Red Goku GT, being able to steal their Unison is huge. There's a lot of Unison decks Unison heavy decks right now, and I felt like this was a good choice. Being able to shut them down is pretty funny.
It's
pretty
close to Hatch, I think, in retrospect and what it does. But the fact that it's no one expected you to play that. You know, like no one expected to see Kapitokai. There, everyone's expecting Hatch, and you throw down this card. You're like, wait, what?
Yep. Yeah. I didn't have it in hand. I went against a green cooler who triple striked me, and if I could have done that and stole their Unison, they wouldn't have had that dual attack on me.
I do think
it's
one
relevant.
of the interesting things is that blue generally has a rough time against like particular yellow decks because of cooler counter, and it's really hard for them to hold energy up for a Hatch. I mean like a D Magic, or like just like tapping out and then playing Hatch, because essentially they can just cooler you and then you just probably lose. But the fact that that's not a counter attack, it makes it very interesting for people who are potentially going to run this deck, or any type of blue-green strategy, and just using this as your floodgate, because they cannot counter it because it's in the combo step. So it's a very, very interesting tech that you decided to do with that.
Yeah. Like during the testing, it was fun taking the Unisons as well.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Yep. Took my Unison a few times. That was very tilting.
So that's the main deck there.
So
I felt it ran pretty well overall. I only had problems against U7. I did not see my Unison until turn 4.
That's rough.
And I made terrible plays up until then. And that got me tilted, so that I just was making terrible plays.
What do you think, like, do you think there's anything that, now that you've got some, regional testing with it, do you think there's anything you would change in the main deck that potentially is not in your side deck already, or that just, like, there's some interesting tech ideas?
I haven't looked through too much. There's a couple cards in my, there's one main card in my side that I would put into the main.
Okay.
So I can go over the side now. I'm still terrible at side decking, and what to side deck and what to take out of my main deck.
We tried to help you out with that as much as we could.
So first off, I had 2 Android 16 Steadfast Allies, Arrival 2 blue and 2 green. When you arrival him, you search your deck for an Android 21 and play it. Well, you add it to your hand and then play it. He's a double strike, and when he swings, your opponent discards a card from their hand. The Android 21 target is Bad Omen. When she's played, you pop one of your own energy, and then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and one of their life and put it in their drop area. So I would take out the Turning the Tide and put Bad Omen, at least a one of, in the main deck. Being able to take that last life on play is huge. You don't need to swing. Someone floodgates you and you do this, they had 1 life left. You're good.
Yeah, it's very scary. Any type of burn on interactive play, whether it's mill or burn, it's very scary. So yeah, I can definitely agree with that being in the main board.
Yeah. I had another 17 Turning the Tide just in case it was another slow deck, and I felt like I wanted it, and that would be the finisher. I had one more. I had the 4th Android 14 Floodgate. My thoughts were, if I was going against an aggressive deck, I definitely just wanted to see these in the early turns to make sure I survived.
Yep.
1 Absolute Release Ball. This is great to stop other floodgates on your turn. It's also just a decent counterplay. I think one of the best cards in the side deck right now is Dirty Burst.
I agree. This
card stops a lot of boss monsters of opponents. U7, Yellow Sin, Cell.
Yeah.
Yellow decks. It does work. Then I have a one of Protector of the People. When this Unison is played, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose another battle card with energy cost 2 or more and put it at the bottom of their deck. So it's a preventative. It's a floodgate in a way. I sided this in once or twice against the launch deck, and I forget what else, but I think that's it. I
think you played it against the Yellow Sin player, if I'm not mistaken, when we were watching.
I did, because I knew turn 6 they pay 6, and then
Yep.
You're right. So then I have two Ultimate Dragon Tackles. I'm sure you know what this card does by heart.
I love this card, dude. When I saw this in your side deck, I cracked the biggest smile. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing tech. But yeah, and go ahead and explain the card, since I'm sure a lot of people don't know what it does.
So it's a activate battle or main battle, limit 1. Your opponent. Let me just read it. If your opponent has a unison card in play, your opponent places the top card of their deck in their drop. Your opponent may choose one of their unison cards and remove 2 markers from it. If they don't, draw 1 card and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp.
So good.
So it is very good, and a lot of people weren't expecting it either.
I'm sure.
Being able to do that on activate battle is great. So they have to make a choice.
It's very powerful, honestly. Like, that's why I like the Sin deck. Everything's in the combo step, and you threw that, and it's so good because, like, in a blue deck, like, you can just Sensu Bean, like, afterwards. Yep. Like, all right, cool, I just tap 2, you're gonna mill 1, and then go ahead and get rid of this marker on unison, or I'm gonna warp something and draw a card, and then I'll just Sensu Bean. It's so
exactly good. I had one absolute confidence. This was just in case it was a unison deck that didn't play battle cards really. So because it wouldn't have mattered then that they didn't take 2 markers off. So you can remove a marker from it. Broken Seal. Use that to stop some of the big bosses. Cell, U7. And then finally I had 1 extra Beerus Destroys extra card. If I was going against a deck that I felt I needed that extra removal either way or draw. So
gotcha. Well, what do you think outside of like the U7 matchup? Was there anything else that you found that was kind of easier? That was either kind of easy for the deck, or anything that was a little more challenging that you may need to revisit the main deck to kind of counteract a little bit outside of the U7 matchup, obviously, because we know that's kind of a toughie one.
I definitely need to practice against U7 more. I didn't get any practice beforehand. Honestly, no, I didn't. Other than making bad plays on some things, I felt pretty good in most matchups. And the games where I didn't feel good, having the surprise of being able to seal the unison with my SCR, I felt good there. I do want to change I want to add a Bad Omen in the main deck and take out the Turning Tide.
Okay. Well, any shout outs, anything that you want to say before we end the video here?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
And shout out to your son who almost got top 32.
Yes, he got 32nd or 33rd place, and he was very upset that he did not get 32nd.
He was so close.
He played yellow trunks, and I was proud that he went and tried.
Yeah, he had a few accomplishments, I would say.
Yeah, he did decent. He did way better than he said he was going to do. He told me he was going to come in 45th place when we got there.
Yeah, he definitely did better than that.
Yep.
Well, hey, thank you, Jacob, for taking the time to talk about this deck. I'm sure a lot of people will love to see this, just considering no one's top of the deck yet. So you are the first Gamma player to top of the deck. So it's people have to kind of look at your list and see if kind of use your list as sort of a template going forward if they want to do well with the deck. I feel like so. So thank you for letting me do the deck profile here with you.
No problem.
All right, and you guys, if you guys have any questions, you guys can hit up the comments. I'm sure Jacob will be able to answer some questions about the deck, because I know very little about the deck. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.